the projects, but they need to be the right ones. Now, moving on, where the government's got a real problem is over this whole Black Lives Matters movement, what they represent, who they are, as you quite rightly say, the toppling of statues, the demands that every single national hero that we've ever had in this country is traduced and removed from our history books. And that's where I'm afraid that Boris Johnson and the government have gone along with this PC woke agenda. Not one of them has dared stand up and say, look, when it comes to racial equality, we are totally and utterly committed to making sure this country is as fair as possible. But we will not bow down before the mob, and we certainly won't appease an organization like Black Lives Matters, which is utterly Marxist in intent and anarchist in the way in which it behaves. And the disconnect between what is being said in Westminster, what is being said for the vast majority of mainstream media, and where the British public are, I mean, it's as big a gulf as I have ever seen. And a lot of those voters that you're talking about, and they're voters who left the Labour Party, they voted UKIP or they voted Brexit Party before going to the Conservative Party. They want real leadership and they want plain speaking. And I think Boris needs to get out of this PC culture that he's rather found himself trapped in.
Well, you mentioned Black Lives Matter, and of course, a conversation that you had about Black Lives Matter may or may not, according to different accounts, have led to the cancel culture affecting you in a radio contract. Let me just read to you a tweet sent out yesterday by Black Lives Matter UK. As Israel moves forward with the annexation of the West Bank and mainstream British politics is gagged of the right to critique Zionism and Israel's settler colonial pursuits, we loudly and clearly stand beside our Palestinian comrades. Free Palestine. What do you make of that tweet? Because an awful lot of people are saying that to actually have a conversation about the right to critique Zionism. Zionism, of course, is the right of the Jewish people to have their own state, rather than criticising the current policies of an elected Israeli government. Do you think that you've been critical, and you were just now, of Black Lives Matter, the organisation, as opposed to the slogan Black Lives Matter, which of course they do. Every right-thinking person would agree with that. Do you think that a lot of those people who've been endorsing the organisation Black Lives Matter may well be wanting to perhaps rethink their support in the light of some of the things that Black Lives Matter stand for and that tweets like that?
Yeah, look, we've had the Prime Minister, senior politicians, we've had most of our mainstream media and many of the big corporate companies, supporting Black Lives Matter. The Premier League footballers putting Black Lives Matter on the back of their shirts. And much of this has been done in ignorance. Much of it's been done in fear. People just did not examine what was really behind it. And I think, classic of the hard left Marxists, their absolute hatred of Israel, of anything to do with Israel, and support of Palestinian causes, even those Palestinian causes that are damn dangerous. And I think what's going to happen, Julia, is there is going to be something will happen over the course of the next weeks and months. And more than likely, because of the complete anti-police agenda, don't forget, Black Lives Matter UK are campaigning to abolish our police forces. They are engendering distrust, dislike, even hatred of our police. And there will be an incident. Something will happen and the pendulum will swing rapidly the other way. And we will ask ourselves, why did we go along with this mania without ever examining what it really stood for? As I repeat, any campaign for full equality is absolutely right. Everybody in this country should be treated the same, regardless of colour or religion or race. What Black Lives Matter actually are doing is making divisions that may exist within society even deeper. So the sooner this madness comes to an end, and the sooner we can start thinking about genuine free speech, the better.
Okay, well,
I'm not suggesting there aren't limits to free speech. There are, but at the moment, anyone that dares challenge this or even tell the truth gets slapped down.
Okay, a lot of people would be agreeing with you.